Thank you very much, Division Director Kevin Rubia, for making the time for this interview. And we hope that by the end of our time together, that our clubs, the clubs in our district, will have a better idea of what an open house is and why they should conduct it, and the best way to go about doing it effectively. But before we get into that, maybe you could tell us a bit about yourself and your journey in Toastmasters.
Great. Thanks for having me, DTM Robert Ndwati Karanja, Program Quality Director. It's such an honor. I'm Kevin Rubia, doctor by profession, and I'm currently studying a master's in clinical psychology, which is a passion of mine. I joined Toastmasters in 2020, March, just before the height of COVID. And since then, I've served as a club sergeant at arms. Treasurer, don't come for me. Club sergeant at arms of Downtown Toastmasters Club, club president of the same club, Area 16 director, and Division D director, which is the position I currently serve in. It's been a fun journey, and I can't wait to see where this journey leads.
Thank you so much. And over the last couple of months, your division has conducted some open houses, and we hope to learn from that experience of your area directors and your club officers. But before going into the nitty-gritties of how to conduct an open house, maybe we'll start by talking about what exactly is an open house and why should a club think about having one?
Good question. I'll first begin by giving a shout out to all the club officers and the area directors in my division that have successfully held open houses. We have Nakuru Toastmasters Club under Area 16 Director George Luanya, and Nanyuki Prospective Toastmasters Club under Donvin Oguda, Area 14 Director. Now, imagine this as a club member or as a club executive committee member. You have been trying for the longest time to increase your membership. It means that your club has been suffering as a result, having to take roles repeatedly. Sometimes not many people make it. And this is a common problem that is seen within Division D and I presume throughout the district. What an open house does is it gives you that one chance to get as many members as possible at one go. This gives you also a chance to follow up with these members by having this large pool of people to draw from. Therefore, an open house is a fun and celebratory meeting that a club can hold, actually more than once, to attract as many guests as possible and convert these guests to members. Back to you.
Great. What does a club need to do to prepare for an open house, and who are the people that are involved in those preparations?
Preparation is key for any open house meeting. That's why sometimes whatever open house you may hold may not be as successful as you may have wanted it to be. So it's not just a matter of holding one, it's about having it right from the word go, from its planning to its execution and to its follow-up. So the planning process, you can ask yourself these questions. When do we want to hold this open house? It's good to plan at least 1 month in advance before the date of the open house. Also, you have to decide as a club whether you'd like to hold it during your regular club meetings or on a separate date that won't interfere with your club meetings. The next is how long would you like this meeting to be, this open house meeting? It's advised that you hold a meeting that is 1 hour to 2 hours long with an additional 15 minutes before and after for the sake of interaction and asking of questions and answering these questions. Next is, where do you want to hold this? Do you want to have an online open house? That may mean you need people to register beforehand so that you can get the details of these prospective members? Or will you hold it physically? And if physically, do you have the right budget for that? Do you have the right venue? Is it the same venue that you use for your club meetings, or it's a different venue? And are there special considerations? For example, the need for a public address system should you go for a new venue? So where is important? The other thing is, we've talked about how long, where, and when. When we've already talked about that. What about the what? The particular resources that you need. For example, it would be important to have attendance lists so that you can be able to track these people for follow-up later. You also need to have the membership forms. Remember, we are trying to convert guests into members, and why not convert them when they have seen the open house happen and seen the benefit of Toastmasters real time? So it's important to have those resources, and I'll share on how to get such resources later. The other thing is the who. The who is important, and here we can look at the people who are going to organize the open house and the target audience. So for the organizers, you can have the executive committee of the club organize this, or you can have 1 to 2 committees, either ad hoc or already set up by the club. For example, the membership committee under the vice president of membership, or the social and the reception committee under the sergeant at arms. These 2 committees could be ideal for holding an open house or organizing it. Remember, though, also to cater for finances, so the treasurer still comes into this business. For the target audience, it's important to recognize if, for example, we are targeting a high-end clientele, the venue will be of specific importance. If we are having a corporate, we are trying to open a corporate club, it would be important to reach out to the HR, the human resource department of that institution, to be on board from the word go, or the senior management of this institution, because they're the ones who have the buy-in into the Toastmasters Club that you're trying to establish. That, in a nutshell, is what we need to consider when planning for an open house.
Fantastic. So you've done all that preparation beforehand, and the day has come for the open house. What exactly is the kind of format for the open house meeting? What needs to happen during that meeting for it to be effective?
An effective open house should make sure that as many participants, this is the guests, have talked as much as possible. That is crucial. Imagine going to a party, seeing people enjoy themselves, and you not really being part of the fun. In fact, you're asking yourself, why was I brought here? That should never happen in an open house meeting. Now, to be able to plan for an open house or to execute it well, it's important that, one, you have these 3 key elements: an interactive session with interactive evaluation. So your evaluations won't be the usual, an evaluator comes to speak, but they speak, yes, for 2 to 3 minutes, but ask the audience what they thought. For example, what is your take-home message from this speech, or what did you enjoy most? So interactive evaluations are important. Secondly, interactive evaluations help you now come into table topics. As people have already spoken during the interactive evaluation session, the table topics, which in this case should be around 25 minutes to 30 minutes, yes, 25 minutes to 30 minutes, it should be long, so that many people speak and get to understand what Toastmasters is, or at least participated in that open house. For the table topics, as opposed to the 1 to 2 minutes speeches that we have in the club, it's advised to have them for 1 minute. because you can imagine if people speak for more than 2 minutes or more than 3 minutes, not many people may get a chance to speak. So to maximize the benefit of making use of the topics, table topic session, limit it to 1 minute per person. Lastly is a role that we do not take as much, or we do not use as much in our club meetings, the hack session. The hack session gives an opportunity for other people to speak during the meeting. So it's important to try to incorporate it either with the grammarian session or without it. So that's particularly key. In your Toastmasters meeting, in your open house meeting rather, you'll still have the other roles, with the exception of the general evaluator and the accounter. But the presiding officer is important because they're the ones to introduce what Toastmasters is and the benefits of Toastmasters to the audience. Then we have the Toastmaster of the day, who is going to run the meeting and also introduce each section, like the prepared speeches, where we should have 2 speakers and not more than 3 speakers. Remember, the whole idea is for the guests to speak. So having more than 3 speakers may not give that opportunity. And one thing about these speakers is one person should at least talk about the benefits of Toastmasters in their own personal life. An important aspect of an open house meeting is a testimonial, and that's where the speakers can come in instead of having a separate session for testimonials. We'll have the grammarian or the hackmaster or the hackmaster. You'll also have the timer because we need to time everyone in the session. What we might not really pay emphasis on is the accounter and the general evaluator, but all the other roles remain the same. The sergeant at arms role is very important because they will be the one in charge of taking the attendance and making sure that there's order in the room.
Absolutely. And I think from the way that you described it, the goal is to help the guests get a taste of what Toastmasters is all about without overwhelming them with the details of a meeting. And the focus is on having a fun and interactive meeting for the open house. Then after you're done with those 2 hours that you have set aside for the open house, what do you need to do after that meeting?
Most importantly is to invite people to join the club. That is a must do before the end of the meeting. And that's why you have your membership forms, just in case anyone is ready and willing to sign up as a member of your club. The next thing is to let people know about the future club meetings. That way, someone gets the opportunity to come back and possibly join or possibly participate again. By telling them that by joining, you can actually speak in the next meeting, that already makes someone start thinking on the spot that if I join as early as now, I can actually give my icebreaker, which is the first speech a Toastmaster gives, or take up any role as they've seen happen in the meeting. So letting people know that once they join, they can take up any of these roles is also crucial. Another thing is having a follow-up list. So let's say people haven't joined. The thing is now it's up to you as the person or the committee to follow up with these members through email, through personal invitations, and that's why you got contacts, and through even asking for feedback, what they liked about the meeting and what they'd like to see happen more. Of course, as you let them know about the next club meeting. So follow-up is crucial, and that's where we may fail as a district, is following up. It's not enough holding or having a successful fan meeting. It's about how many people become guests or become members and therefore get the benefit of Toastmasters, which is the whole point of all this.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And I think, thanks for that reminder that the thing that needs to be at the forefront of our minds, right from the preparation, having the meeting, and also after it, is that objective, which is to get additional members for our clubs. Maybe we could close off by talking about where can we find resources that we might need to have a productive open house.
Sometimes we can be baffled with the amount of information we get, especially as Toastmasters. However, it has been made simpler for us. When you log into www.toastmasters.org and go to the resources page, there you'll be able to type the keyword open house and all the resources that you need will pop up. That includes brochures for marketing or brochures, depending on which club or who your English teacher was. You'll get flyers, you'll get posters, you'll get the stationery that you need. That's www.toastmasters.org. Go to the resources page and type in the words open house space, open space house, and all the resources that you need will come to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much once again, Division Director Kevin Rubia, for making the time to share your experiences with open houses and your research. And I hope that, let me take that one more time. I hope that our district is going to benefit greatly from your wisdom. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Most welcome. Thanks for having me. Let's hold open houses. Vice President Public Relations, I forgot to mention you're particularly important in marketing. So use social media to your advantage, use notice boards, use websites, and use the photos that you took during the open house to still publicize the club thereafter.